Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny director James Mangold was recently announced as the upcoming director of a Star Wars film that was supposed to basically take place in the extreme distant past of the Star Wars universe where the Force is first being discovered. That was announced back at Star Wars Celebration, and now he's provided some details about what he hopes to show in this film. So let's kind of go over, give a recap real quick here. We had this press release from Lucasfilm after the film was announced at Star Wars Celebration. It says the film will, quote, will take audiences deep into the past, telling the tale of the first Jedi to wield the Force and harness it as a liberating power in an era of chaos and oppression. Now, in a new interview with Gizmodo, he revealed more details about what he plans to do with this film. He said, well, first, he detailed he's been in talks with Lucasfilm in the past. So this is what he said. Well, I've talked to Lucasfilm before and even worked a bit before on other projects. He was a part of that canceled Boba Fett film. And I'm always interested in what's going on there and have friends who work on other Star Wars projects. But I understand that much of what they were doing was kind of continuing the saga forward. That's pretty much what they had been doing, or things like Rogue One or Solo, which are just right around the same time. They weren't going anywhere into the distant future or into the distant past. It was all kind of in that George Lucas original trilogy, prequel trilogy timeline. But anyways, Mangold goes on and says, so when I mentioned to Kathy Kennedy, Lucasfilm president, the idea that I had about going backward, really far backward, I was surprised that it excited her and other wonderful people she works with at Lucasfilm. I'm not sure why he was surprised by that. They literally, I feel like they hired the Game of Thrones guys specifically to do a Knights of the Old Republic, and they even had like a Knights of the Old Republic treatment written by the person who was the scriptwriter on Alita. Her name escapes me right now, but they had that. But anyways, he says, for me, it's about I want to be a part of the saga, but I also don't want to be holding so much lore in the air that you can hardly tell a story. So this is key. Yeah, this is key. Remember this, because then he just says, and what I really wanted to do, what I told her was just can we make a kind of the Ten Commandments of the Force, a kind of origin story of how the Force came to be known, understood, wielded, and harnessed. So he wants to tell a story where he's not being held back by lore, but then he literally wants to tell a story that is giving you what the Ten Commandments of the Force are. Like, you can't do that because we already know a lot about the Force. You still are like held by those lore requirements of the Force. Like, what are you even talking about here, pal? More than likely, what he's talking about is that they're going to continue to rewrite the Force as they have done in their High Republic comic books and novels. So that's what I expect this to be. And it's more than likely that the first quote unquote Jedi will be a female, given that the whole Lucasfilm motto is the Force is female. But this actually is some good news here. We did get some good news here. Gizmodo said that when they asked about what the status of the film was, Mangold relayed it was, quote, impossible to answer that question, which is that is great news because does anyone really want to see this movie? I certainly don't. It's going to be a disaster. But what makes it even more interesting is we did get these new dates for theatrical releases for Star Wars: May 22, 2026, December 18, 2026, December 17, 2027. No actual which films are going to be in those. I mean, we just had 3 films announced at Star Wars Celebration, but they don't have release dates. And then when we do get new release dates for Star Wars films, we don't actually know which films are going to be there. So as James Mangold said, it's impossible to know. But I think that's good news because I mean, pretty much anything coming out of Disney, Star Wars right now is just absolutely garbage.